So the iPhone 10 is still an older iPhone, but I still love this phone so much, and I truly do think it's probably one of the most important iPhones Apple has ever made. And this is like the 50,000th video I've made this year about it, but I figured I would want to end the year off of explaining just how powerful this phone is still, and basically seeing what Apple can basically do to create another type of iPhone 10, because I think there's only been a few phones like the iPhone 10 Apple's made, the $1,000 great flagship that has everything inside of it. I think the 13 Pro is pretty close, but with the iPhone 10, this phone that came out in 2017 was that really big change. It was very controversial when it first came out, if you all remember it. A lot of people were looking at that phone almost kind of weirded out because there was no home button, but also Face ID. That was a kind of a bad demonstration Apple made at the time. And that $1,000 price tag was also a little bit kind of throwing off a lot of people. But I will say, since that device, and since Apple's made a lot more $1,000 phones since then, and more than expensive $1,000 phones, it still has made the iPhone 10 for the most part a very, very good phone after a few years. So within that like 2 to 3 year time frame around 2019, 2020, the iPhone 10s were very, very good deals. You could buy those things for about $300 to $350 in pretty good condition. And that phone, with its screen, with its power, with its support with software, it was still almost keeping up with the flagships. I mean, even when compared to the iPhone 11 Pro, that was still an iPhone that was keeping up and holding up very, very well against those devices. But then that got us into 2021, 2022, which we're on now. And although Apple has started kind of removing some features within the iPhone 10 in terms of iOS software support, it has still made the iPhone 10, in my opinion, a really good deal when that price tag has gone down so much. I've seen so many iPhone 10s being sold for less than $200 nowadays. And I wouldn't be surprised if next year they're pretty much on average like $150, probably less than $150 at that point. So that is going to be another crazy thing that's probably going to be ending up happening sooner than later. So when I look at something like the iPhone 10, I constantly think to myself that, this is probably one of the most important iPhones Apple has ever made, but it's also one of the most important phones ever made in general, at least in the last 5 years. So if I were somebody who basically had an iPhone 10, I probably would end up keeping it for the next, I don't know how long, but I would probably end up keeping it for a longer period of time than probably I would expect. But also, I would probably end up keeping the iPhone 10 and or getting an iPhone 10 if I actually ended up having a way older iPhone. If I had an iPhone 6, if I had an iPhone 6S or 7, I would also just plan on upgrading to an iPhone 10. I would save myself a lot more money compared to an iPhone 14 Pro, but I would be getting still a massive upgrade coming from the previous phone that I'm coming from. So that kind of covers it up. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.